Well, we are in Stockholm and we're talking to Roger Kasirye, who is the Executive Director of Uganda Youth Development Link. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Could you give us a picture of what is happening in Uganda when it comes to drugs?
In Uganda, we of course we have a problem of drug abuse, but our major problem and concern is mainly alcohol. Because in this one we are talking about 49 people who drink, and what appear to be worrying us are the young people, mainly the young people who are being targeted by the alcohol industry, as well as the homemade brew. And the targeting is in form of packaging, small miniature, small 30 packs, which makes it easier to drink. And in addition, the alcohol industry keeps on promoting beer in terms of adverts, in terms of giving out free alcohol bottles so that people can drink. And these ones are competing with the homemade brew. Homemade brew, we are talking about spirits. We are talking about spirits which are made because we have a lot of carbohydrates. Homemade brew, illicit alcohol which is not registered anywhere, and many people are drinking it. And what is the concern as we speak today is the death. Alcohol killing people. This cheap alcohol killing people. Like in 2009, we registered over 150 people who died of this alcohol. Young and adult. Again, in 2010, over 100 people have died of alcohol. This is very worrying. All the progress the country has made, as you know, Uganda has been making a lot of progress in terms of HIV, progress in terms of reducing poverty, stability. All the gains which have made are being taken back, and this appear to be very worrying. But however, there are other drugs we see, like cannabis. We grow a lot of cannabis. Cannabis in our country, we've got many farms, and I've been told our cannabis is high on the market. In Kenya, in Tanzania, we export a lot of cannabis. We have noticed that there are young people who are smoking and using this cannabis, and our cannabis is hybrid cannabis. And many young people, the figures are not so high, but of course this is worrying, because once the problem explodes, it will explode, and many young people will take it on. 3, we have inhalants. We are talking about Sugulu, we are talking about paint thinner, we are talking about petrol. These young people sniff, especially those on the streets, those in the slum communities, those impoverished and poor urban children are sniffing glue, and these appear to be affecting them. Of course, they prefer glue because it doesn't stay longer on the head. It's 5-10 minutes is over. But sometimes they mix with cannabis, they mix with tobacco, and this polyusing of drugs also comes with other effects. Of course, we have other drugs like heroin, cocaine. Those numbers are very few. The hospital admissions are very few in terms of cocaine and heroin. We are talking about 15 to 20 cases which have been registered, and the numbers here are very small. Of course, we see other drugs like pethidine, these painkillers being abused. We are also seeing other drugs like which are abused by the people, like tablets, but those are not so serious. What is the major problem is alcohol, cannabis, inhalants, and again, a few of these drugs which are smuggled and used by rich young people. So in terms of seizures and arrest by police, we see more cannabis plants being destroyed, we see heroin and cocaine, but the figures again are also small. But in terms of treatment numbers and how many people have gone through psychiatric hospitals to receive treatment, because this is mainly done by government, the numbers, out of 100, we have like 30 people who come to get treatment for drug abuse. So that's the situation. But this is mainly a male problem. A male, boys, men. Those who have problems with alcohol, a few women are also catching up, but it's mainly a male-dominated problem. Yeah.
Okay. If we look at the region, Uganda and the surrounding countries, how would you describe the situation in the region?
If we are talking of the region, of course, the East African Community region, we are talking about Kenya, we are talking about Tanzania, we are talking about Rwanda, Burundi, and Uganda. You see more pronounced cases of drug abuse in Kenya and Nairobi. The reason is that these countries are on the coastal line of the Indian Ocean. You know, East Africa is now a major transit point for trafficking drugs from Asia, from Pakistan, from Afghanistan, and also Somalia. Because Somalia, you know, as is a failed state, and a lot of drugs are coming in. Our borders are very porous. Our borders are not manned. Our borders are very weak. Law enforcement is very weak in Kenya and also in Tanzania. But in terms of trafficking, huge numbers of drugs, huge amounts of drugs are being seized at the ports of Mombasa, at the ports of Dar es Salaam, and also on the island of Zanzibar. We have also registered people intravenous drug using, injection. People injecting in Mombasa, in Zanzibar, and in Tanzania. In other words, heroin use and cocaine use and crack is very high on these coastal town and posts, which is different from Uganda. In Uganda, you see more alcohol consumption, you see more cannabis. But again, in Kenya, cannabis use, heroin and cocaine have taken root. In Tanzania, the same. However, you see less in Burundi and Rwanda because of our resistance to injections. You know, to injection, people resist. They don't like that, and because of our culture and more drinking. But Kenya and Tanzania have a bigger problem compared to Uganda. So that's how I can tell you the situation as it stands of now.
Okay. Now, you are the Executive Director of Uganda Youth Development Link. What is that?
It's an NGO. It's a civil society organization, a non-profit organization, which is rehabilitating young people who are affected by alcohol, drug abuse, and issues of prostitution, issues of commercial sex work. Some of the young people we help at our center are products of child labor, young people who were looted from the villages. Their parents died, nobody is caring. They are orphans due to HIV/AIDS. They are brought in the city and sent in homes to work as house girls and houseboys in the markets. So what we do, Uganda Youth Development Link, and actually I have to appreciate IOGTNTO Sweden, which gives us money to rehabilitate some young people. There's also another radio program called VB program, where you raise money, you people, and we are able to rehabilitate young people who are affected by this situation. We have a very big center. Every day we receive 300 slum and street children. These come for rehabilitation. Our center provides vocational schools. We do teach young people to do plumbing work, water work. We teach a motorbike, because we have motorbike transport in our country is very common. Many young people would like to learn to repair these motorbikes. We are teaching tailoring. We are teaching young people to do welding. We have a big class of hairdressers. Young girls want to do hairdressing. You know, they want to do hairdressing and tailoring and all this. But also we are teaching gardening, flowering, building and construction. All this we are doing because many young people, when you talk to them, they tell you we are using drugs, we are going to bar to do prostitution, because we have no alternative. And actually, if you can deal with the livelihood situation of these young people, you are likely to see the incidences of drug abuse, alcohol coming down. So it's a very big tool of catching them, give them the skills they don't have, and then let them go. You find many reduce the number of partners, you find many reducing the amount of drugs they take, and that encourages us. So Uganda Youth, one of the areas that we are involved is vocational skills and building the livelihood of these young people. But apart from that, we are also doing advocacy work and lobbying on alcohol and drug abuse with members of parliament, with key government people. We are sensitizing NGOs, and we are reaching out and telling people drugs are not good for us. So we are very strong in our country, and we are known for doing advocacy and interfacing with government and members of parliament to raise the issue and the burden of alcohol and drug abuse in our country. Basically, that's what we do.
And this was a description from Uganda and the surrounding countries about the drug situation and the work done by the Uganda Youth Development Link. Thank you very much.
Thank you.